Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock with you as we talk Fort Hays State football. The Tigers 8-0, another road win, knocking off Missouri Western Saturday afternoon, 38-10 in St. Joe. Their first win over the Griffins in St. Joseph since 1987. And we'll recap the victory and look ahead to a big one this Saturday at Lewis Field. The Tigers welcome in the Emporia State Hornets. Tiger Talk brought to you again by Mocha's Coffee, Bakery, and Bistro, 27th and Indian Trail, and Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers on North Vine and Hayes. The taste that brings you back. We'll take our first break. Head coach Chris Brown will join us on the other side right here on Tiger Talk. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. That was some of the action from Saturday in St. Joe. Fort Hays State a winner over Missouri Western. Tiger Talk brought to you by Mocha's Coffee, Bakery, and Bistro, 27th and Indian Trail, and Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. You can experience the delicious cook-to-order food, the rich and creamy frozen custard churned fresh throughout the day, all at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, North Vine and Hayes. The taste that brings you back. Fort Hays State 8-0, 38-10 winners Saturday over Missouri Western. And we bring in the coach of the Tigers, Chris Brown. 8-0 Tigers. It's got a nice ring to it. Congratulations. That was a heck of a win.
It is. It was a good win for us. Travel was kind of iffy on our way there. We broke down before we even got out of Hayes, but had some ups and downs. But we got there and got them settled, and we weren't going to make any excuses for travel and things that were happening. And our kids found a way to win that ball game. They played hard for 4 quarters and did some good things offensively, and I think defensively we were very stellar. Yeah,
no doubt about that. Defense was very, very good. The top rushing attack in the MIAA coming into it, one of the best in the country, and you hold them well under 100 yards on the ground. If you can do that against that team, that's a good day.
Yeah, it is. Our front line did a great job of keeping linebackers off our linebackers and allowing them. They were penetrating the line of scrimmage as well and getting it pushed back, and our linebackers were able to make plays. And hats off to our defense, because that was a very good rushing offense, and they did a good job of shutting them down.
And turnovers, we talked about it on the program last week, were going to be key. Missouri Western coming into the game, 22 takeaways, a plus 14 turnover margin. They got a couple of turnovers, but you forced 4. You finished in the positive column in that turnover margin, and against them, which they had a 68-7 outscoring opponents off of turnovers. You did not let that become a factor.
Yeah, we did, and I think we might have gave maybe 3 points or a touchdown off a turnover, but a little bit of that was on me too, getting the penalty, because I wasn't, I didn't really agree with all the holding that was going on during the game.
There was a lot.
It's part of it, and I'll take that 7 points for myself, because our defense probably gives up another field goal in that situation if it wasn't for me. But really proud of our guys and the way they handled the situation. Got some great turnovers on defense. Got one on special teams that scored us our first 7 points, and we need to keep doing that. And that's only going to help us get better and help us win more ball games.
Another big day for Kenneth Iheen. Goes over 100 yards for a 4th straight game. Over 2,000 now in his career, and he had some big runs and a lot of heart. He just does it all. He gets the 3, 4, 5-yard gains, and shows the ability to get big ones, and then was more involved in the passing game again on Saturday.
Yeah, he was. He didn't really think that he had 100 yards rushing. He was kind of a quiet 100 yards, but he got to that 100-yard mark again, and he does well catching the ball in the backfield and making things happen. But he had a busy day. He's a workhorse, and we just got to keep getting that from him. As this year continues on. But I'm proud of that kid and the way he works, and our O-line did a really good job of opening up some holes for him there in the second half, especially, and making things happen. If it wasn't for those O-linemen, we're not getting anything.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I know the running back's the first to say that. And it was good to see Charles Tigner. He got in there a little more in the second half and had a very productive day and got a touchdown as well. And you mentioned, mentioned the O-line. It kind of felt like they were punched in the mouth a little bit early on, but late in that first half, and then especially the second half, kind of reasserted themselves and controlled the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they did. There's just a few things they were doing up front, defensively, that we hadn't seen in the past, with rolling their linebackers a certain way and a lot of slants and things like that. But they figured it out, and they got it worked out, and they came off the ball a little bit harder in the second half, and played aggressive and physical, and you know, when those guys do that, I mean, it's hard to stop our run game, and then that really opens up our pass game as well.
Well, it certainly did on Saturday. Tigers win at 38-10. We'll talk about it in a little bit more detail when we come back. Tiger Talk brought to you by Mocha's Coffee, Bakery, and Bistro and Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. And we'll have more right after the break.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayespost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
Back on Tiger Talk, more of the action from Saturday at Spratt Memorial Stadium in St. Joseph. Fort Hays State 38-10 winners over Missouri Western. Tiger Talk brought to you by Mocha's Coffee, Bakery, and Bistro, 27th and Indian Trail in Hays, as well as Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, where you can get their delicious cooked-to-order double steak burger, crispy shoestring fries, all seasoned with Freddy's famous seasoning. And, of course, finish it off with their signature Turtle Sundae made with their fresh, creamy frozen custard. Located on North Vine in Hays, Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, the taste that brings you back. Tigers winning Saturday over Missouri Western. Had a punt on your first possession. You've been pretty good about scoring. Didn't happen there, but then you forced them the punt and you kind of touched on it. Took advantage of a miscue, a high snap. Punter couldn't quite handle it, and Cayman Clayton, they're able to pounce on it in the end zone to get you the early lead. A special team score.
Yeah, that is. That's a huge momentum swing as well. You know, just for the whole game, kind of sets the tone for the whole game as well. It gives us some momentum, you know, going into the rest of the game, and you know that's a huge play by Cayman getting off the ball. And I don't know if Coach Lilly had a rush called in there or not, but I know we always send 2 to 3 guys to the block point anyway, just to make sure we force the punt. But high snap, he hustled to it, knocked the ball out of the punter's hands, and fell onto the end zone. And we needed that play to get things rolling, and that just kind of set the tone for the rest of the day.
Well, it's a good play. Instead of maybe trying to go in for the tackle or you know, blow up the punter who becomes like a runner, didn't do that, saw the ball loose and went for the ball, and instead of letting them maybe try to recover it, and then you never know what happens, he was able to go out there and get it in the end zone.
Yeah, you never know. It could have been a touchback, or I mean, you never know at this day and age and what happens. Or ball's on the 1 yard line and we don't get it in, you know, because we did that did happen to us, you know, later on in the game. But you know, smart play by that young man, and you know, he's only getting better each week.
Yeah, he certainly is. You got to stop and then get the ball back. You face 3rd and 2 and deep in your own territory, and found Montario Birchfield. Missouri to Birchfield goes 67 yards. Their guy kind of slipped as he tried to make the tackle, and showed again he's faster than he maybe appears to the naked eye, as he was able to get it into the end zone. It was a big play to give you the early 2-touchdown lead.
It was huge. You know, it was a quick little slant play. He's a strong kid. He's hard to bring down, and you know, the kid slipped right off of him, and he got to about the 8 yard line, and then one guy tried to tackle him, and he just carried him to the end zone and dove in. But he's got some very good speed, and he is very, very strong, and you know, you don't realize it until you really see it happen on the field.
5 catches, 184 yards for Montario. His 3rd 100-yard receiving game. He had 1 he did not catch in the end zone, and he is the master of just the high degree of difficulty. When he didn't come down with it, you were amazed, because fully expected him to come down with that one as well. I mean, it's amazing the catches he makes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's got great control of his body. He's got great balance. Knows where the sideline is. Has very strong hands. Makes 1-hand catches, 2-hand catches. He might even catch him with his finger every once in a while. But you know, he's a dynamic kid. He makes a lot of things happen, and then you know, really him not catching it, you can't believe it. But he did a good job of getting his hand in there and knocking it out, which was a good play by that kid.
Are you surprised teams are still going one-on-one with him, man coverage, and not? It seems like Missouri Western did that a lot, and Jacob Mazzara took advantage of it.
Yeah, they do. You know, and a lot of teams have done that through the year. And I mean, I think now that we're starting to play in Emporia and Northwest and Kearney, I mean, they'll probably start finding ways to double team him. You know, I would think, but you know, the kid's just, you know, he's just an amazing player, and it makes things happen. But you know, sometimes when you get set in your defense and these are the way we do things, we don't want to change a lot of things up, because then kids get confused. So guys just stick with what they're doing, and hopefully that kid wins the one-on-one battle.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I'll take my chances with him in most of those. 14-0 lead. Then the offense kind of stalled a little bit, kind of had a little lull, and they came back, got 10 unanswered to get right back in the game. I guess that's probably, if you break down the whole game, maybe the most disappointing part. You got off to the quick start, and then the rest of the first half really didn't do too much to that final drive.
No, we didn't, and that's something we got to get better at. You know, we're up 14-0. Let's go score again and score again, and let's put this game away early. But you know, our kids just kind of sit back a little bit every once in a while. But we got to find, to be a championship team, we got to find a way to get over that hump and really put the pedal down and keep the throttle going forward to win these ball games and in big fashion, not just selling for, you know, points here and there.
Well, then they get a 38-yard run. Really their only big run of the day from Josh Caldwell, who had led the conference in rushing coming into it. But the defense, again, kind of bends but doesn't break. They buckle down, force a field goal, up 14-3 at that point. Then special teams mishap. The ball gets pried away from Elaine Bieberly, gives them the ball in good field position. And then, as you said, they go in and score. Now it's game on late in the first half, 14-10. They've got all the momentum on their side.
Yeah, they do. You know, that's, you know, tough for them. I mean, it's just a kid trying to make a play, and you know, he's a tremendous athlete and trying to break tackles, and you know, ball just kind of got away from his body a little bit, and they knocked it out. And you know, we don't want those things to happen, but you can't fault the kid for trying to make something happen. But you know, our defense really stepped up in that situation too. Like in there, you know, if they make them kick the field goal, then you know, I had a big part in that, giving them that penalty and shortening the field so they can get into the end zone. But you know, after that, you know, our defense took over and took control, and you know, we ran with it.
Yeah, and the drive of the game, I thought, right before the end of the first half, it's 14-10. Obviously, they've got the momentum. You come back, you get start your own 28, a 12-yard run by Kenneth, and then a 31-yard run from Jacob Mazzara, the longest in his career. And then the pass to Birchfield, 25 yards, gets you near the goal line, and then Aheem on a 4-yard touchdown run to come right back after they seize the momentum and go up 21-10. That was big.
Yeah, that's huge. And you know, it's still one of those situations where we're just trying to, let's see what happens if we can get some yards, get some first downs. You know, maybe we get a field goal before the half and get a touchdown before the half. And you know, those two runs, you know, right off the bat there, really want us to press forward and try to get a touchdown. And of course, you got Ontario again throwing the ball and get it to him, and then Aheem scores.
Yeah.
And you know, that's huge right before the half. It gives us some momentum back. We get the ball again. Well, I guess they got the ball back at half, and you know, short field, and we go score. So that play there is a big part of it, the reason why we won that game.
Yeah, 31 yards, and then, of course, Jacob's never going to be confused for Travion Alpert, who is a good running quarterback, but to get 31 yards, I mean, that whole left side opened wide up, and a great job of recognizing it, taking advantage of it, and got the ball onto their half of the field. And then, as you said, you had the opportunity to make some chances to go to the end zone.
Yeah, great awareness by him of seeing it. I mean, there was nobody there, and then having the presence to get out of bounds before he got hit, and then, you know, a few more plays were in the end zone. But you know, that Aheem's run and then, you know, Jacob's run, that really set up the whole thing. And you know, a couple more plays after that, and we still had all our timeouts, which helped us too. And you know, huge drive right there, right before the half to get us the lead.
Nope, Tigers led 21-10 at halftime, went into the locker room with some momentum. Missouri Western was going to get the ball to start the second half, and we'll take a look at that second half, which was really dominated by the Tiger defense when we return after this quick timeout right here on Tiger Talk.
As you plan for your business in 2018, advertising should be an important part of your growth strategy. Digital marketing puts your business in front of the right customers online. Advertising with the Hays Post ensures your message will be viewed 1.5 million times a month, including 375,000 unique views a week. Are you ready to grow your business? Advertise with us today. It's affordable and it works. Call us today at 785-628-0467. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk, brought to you by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, North Vine and Hayes, the taste that brings you back, and Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro, 27th and Indian Trail. They've got something for every meal, of course, all the great coffee blends, so stop on by on your way to work. Maybe you're out and about running errands, a convenient drive-through at 27th and Indian Trail, Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro. Tigers leading 21-10 at halftime on Saturday in St. Joe. Griffin's got the ball to start the second half, which was why that score was so important right before the break, and then you come out and force them into a 3 and out, really kind of set the tone for the rest of the day defensively, and then the offense came through, scored on your next possession, and really made it difficult for them to come back.
Yeah, it does. You know, they get the ball back, you know, 3 and out, they're punting into the wind, gives us a short field, and you know, we just kind of rolled from there. I think we ran the ball probably 80% of the time in that drive right there, downhill, being physical, and had an opportunity to get a big play later as well, but Jacob got sacked. But a good job by our O-line, giving us running room. Tight ends did a great job of blocking as well, and our backs did a good job of getting downhill and running physical.
Yeah, Charles Tigner had a 43-yard run on that first possession for you guys and eventually got it into the end zone. Good to see him kind of follow up with where he was in the game before against Washburn. And we've talked about it. You're going to need both those running backs. I mean, the teams you have left, and hopefully if you can extend your season, which is the goal for everyone, it's going to take two guys. You can't just do it with one.
Yeah, it is. And, Charles is getting better each week. I've got more confidence in him each week, and he's getting more confident in himself and his abilities. And he's a huge factor. He runs the ball very physical. He's very dynamic when he runs. A lot different than most backs you see, just with the way he can move his body and things he can do. But when he hits you, he's going to hit you. And that on his first touchdown, he ran a guy over to get into that end zone, and that just kind of sets the tone for him and sets the tone for the defense. If you got a physical runner here, you better be ready.
Yeah, he is a little more physical than he looks. And of course, remember him as a wide receiver last year. Now he's back to a running back where he played in high school. But he is a little deceiving that way. He doesn't look like the big physical runner. He has so many juke and jive moves getting away. But you're right. He's not afraid of the contact.
No, he's not at all. And that's the kind of back you want. Haheem's not scared of contact either. He'll put his head down and try to run you over too. But I'm proud of those two kids and the way they're working and the things that they're doing, and they work well together. And Haheem does a great job with Charles and trying to teach him how we run our offensive plays here and there when I'm not around, and just kind of gives him some pointers. But they're good together.
Dwayne Jaboa gets an interception on their next possession, hits his third in the last two games, and that was really big because it set up your second touchdown of the half. Haheem got his second of the day, and just good to see the defense get some turnovers and some interceptions. There hadn't been very many this year. You really relied on that the last 3 or 4, but now they're starting to come in bunches here all of a sudden.
Yeah, they are. Hopefully we continue to do that. They're getting great drops down, and they're doing a good job of getting their hands on receivers, and just they're filling things a little bit better right now. And this is the time of the season you want those things to happen, and Dwayne's doing a great job of, I think he's got 3 now or 4 total.
4 total.
In the last few games, and hopefully he keeps continuing doing that, and the rest of those guys do the same thing. But that was a huge play for us to give us the opportunity to go score again.
Talk about the defense a little bit. We talked about a solid second half. You hold them to 91 yards in the second half total, under 200 for the game, kept their outstanding running attack under 100 yards, and now 3 straight games they have not allowed a point in the second half.
Yeah, that's huge, and when that happens and your offense is on the field scoring points, and that just kind of breaks your opponent's back, and they're smothering them, not giving them anything, and it frustrates an offense, and they start to press a little bit, and that's when they start making mistakes of throwing interceptions, fumbles and things like that, trying to gain extra yards. But that frustration just sets in after a while when your defense is just smothering an offense like that. Dante
Brown, another good day punting the football, and he had 3 over 50 yards. I think he's had 16 over 50. And I know there was late in the game, you let him punt one and got it inside, I think inside the 10-yard line, an area that he's continued to improve on, but he's really become a valuable weapon in flipping the field position.
It is. That's huge, and that's something we talk about with special teams all the time. When we're on kickoff return or punt return, we got to change field position. The same with kickoff and our punt team. We've got to find a way to change the field position. Don't give them a short field, because offenses, always seem when they get a short field, they go score pretty easy. But with him, he's been a great weapon for us this year, and hopefully he continues doing what he's doing these next few weeks.
And Brandon Brown's kickoffs, the majority of them into the end zone. Western elected to try to return some of those 8 or 9 yard deep, and you kept them inside the 25. But if you can make a team have to drive 75 yards consistently, that's difficult to do.
It is hard, and you look at all the statistics through the years, and people always do those things. You make them drive 75, 80 yards. Most of the time they're not going to score, and if they do, it's usually a field goal or something, or they make a mistake, and that's kind of what we live on defensively. We're going to make you earn everything, and hopefully you make that mistake, and then we capitalize on it and go score later.
You've only allowed 2 teams or 2 drives all year of 80 or more yards for the entire season, so that's been a pretty good formula. Tigers win at 38-10 over Missouri Western. Back at home this Saturday, big one with Emporia State. The Hornets come to town, and we'll take a preview look right after the break.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here.
It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM. Do you believe in love stories?
Well, 94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. It's our final segment of the program, and it's brought to you by Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro, 27th and Indian Trail, and of course Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burger, North Vine and Hayes, the taste that brings you back. Fort Hays State, Emporia State, this Saturday afternoon at Lewis Field in a 2 o'clock kick, the oldest rivalry in Fort Hays State history, 92nd, 93rd, something like that, all-time meeting between the two programs. They've kind of had some tough luck. They're 4-4, but boy, it's a scary 4-4 team. They lost 2 games in the most bizarre way you could ever do it. They probably should be 6-2 and could maybe even make the argument 7-1. That's life in the MIAA. It's a fine line from being where you are and where they are, and there's really not a lot of difference in the two teams.
No, it's week to week. Every week's going to be tough, and the team that makes the least amount of mistakes usually wins the ball game. The team that's the most physical team usually wins the ball game as well in this conference. And they've had some bad breaks. Against Central Missouri with the very last play of the game, fumble recovery for a touchdown, and the UCO is a 2-point conversion. And Northwest Missouri, first game of the year, was a tough game for them. But then Pitt this week, which is a 2-day game because of the weather, and that just kind of takes you out of it. And there's a few things in that game too where they had a they turned the ball over 4 times, and when you do that, it's hard to win ball games. And they're a good football team. They got a great quarterback, got great running backs. They're very good defensively, and got some great receivers. And they're big on the O-line, D-line, and it's going to be a tough battle. But we got to find a way to win this ball game. And it helps with in-state recruiting too. If you can beat Washburn, Pitt, and Emporia, all 3 state schools. That kind of gives us the hand on recruiting. So this is a huge game for us.
And no doubt about that. And that their playoff is done. Postseason probably not going to happen. I'm guaranteeing they've circled this one, and they would love nothing better than to hand Fort Hays State their first loss.
Yeah, they would. And a lot of teams are trying to do that right now as well. And last year's game, they really put it on us last year. They played physical, and the score is closer than probably what the game should end up being. But they played us very well last year. And we got to come out this week, ready to hit them in the mouth and play physical 4 quarters and not turn the ball over offensively, and then defensively, try to shut down that pass unit that has been so consistent as the year goes on. And I think Marshall Braxton passed for almost 500 yards 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And, he's a tough cat, and he runs very well, gets himself out of trouble. So we got to find a way to stop him and stop that offense.
Yeah, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the MIAA, certainly in the region and the country for sure. You mentioned their game with Pitt started on Saturday, and then it was a 2 o'clock kick, and because of that, they didn't get it in. They had to finish the final 10:08 on Sunday. And I know normally you guys get back, your graduate assistants break down game film from your opponent and all of that. How did that affect preparation this week? Does it put you behind a little bit just because you had to wait till all those things were done?
I mean, it did a little bit. We didn't get the film till probably about 4 or 5 o'clock and got it broke down. But we just watched previous games, and then when we got that film, we put it back into the tendencies. And put us a little behind, but we're already caught back up because we stayed a little bit longer working just to make sure we get those things taken care of. But it was a good game between those two, and that weather's never fun.
No, glad our game started at 1 and not 2, because it didn't take long for Hayes to get out of St. Joe, and the rains came a-calling, and we may have been in the same boat. All right. 8-0 start. Does it help having Emporia here this week, just in the sense that there's a game looming in a couple of weeks that a lot of people are starting to talk about, possibly for the MIAA championship, which means nothing if you don't win against Emporia State, but the fact it's an in-state rival, a team like Emporia State, to help your team keep their focus?
Yeah, it is. And we usually play pretty good, at home against them. I think we've won the last 2 here at home, and maybe 3. I can't remember, but it seems like we win here, and then they beat us at their place. But it's good to have our home crowd. I know it's going to be a very, very good crowd, and we've had some great crowds the last few weeks here at home, and hopefully we continue to do that, because that really gives us some more excitement, some more motivation, and just that encouragement from our fans. Really helps us out. But that is a huge part of wins is your home crowd and getting on them and harassing them and trying to get them off balance and being loud when they're on offense. And without our crowd, none of this probably would happen. But I'm proud of our kids and the way they battle week in and week out. And hopefully it's a good one this Saturday, and we get the win.
Sounds good. Should be a lot of fun. Fort Hays State, Emporia State always is, and obviously a lot riding on the line here this Saturday. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Have a great week of practice. We'll see you Saturday at the stadium.
Thanks, Gerard.
That's head coach Chris Brown of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, that is a 2 o'clock kick at Lewis Field, Fort Hays State and the Emporia State Hornets. You can hear it on Tiger Radio Mix 103 beginning at 1 with the Auto World pregame show. Of course, a reminder, if you've missed any portion of the program here today, you can always catch it online, the rebroadcast at HaysPost.com, and the video replay with the Eagles cable channel 14 and 614 on Eagle TV. That airs on 11 a.m., 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Again, Eagle channels 14 and 614. And a big thanks to Jordan again behind the camera making all of that possible. Tiger Talk brought to you by Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, The Taco Shop, G&L Tire and Automotive, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams, Brown, Barron and Ball, BTI, Horizon Appliance and Electronics, and of course Smoker's Coffee Bakery and Bistro at 27th and Indian Trail, and Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers on North Vine, the taste that brings you back. For head coach Chris Brown, this is Gerard Wellbrock. So long, everyone.